Most people never think twice about what's happening inside their toilet tank. You lift the lid, maybe once every few years, and what do you find? Slime, black gunk, orange stains, sometimes even mold growing right there on the walls and components. And here's the thing, all of that buildup isn't just ugly. It's actually affecting how well your toilet flushes, how long your parts last, and even the quality of the water flowing into your bowl. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete process of cleaning out your toilet tank from top to bottom. I'll cover everything from draining it safely to getting rid of stubborn mineral deposits. And stick around to the end, because I've got a bonus tip that'll show you how to keep that tank clean for months with almost no effort. Let's get into it. Cleaning your toilet tank is one of those jobs that nobody talks about, but honestly, is one of the easiest and most impactful things you can do for your bathroom plumbing. You don't need any special skills. You don't need expensive tools. And once you see what's been hiding in there, you'll be glad you finally tackled it. So let's start by understanding what's actually growing inside that tank and why it matters. When you lift the lid off your toilet tank, you might be surprised, or honestly a little disgusted, by what you see. That dark, slimy coating on the walls? That's bacteria. It thrives in standing water. And your toilet tank is basically a warm, dark, wet environment that never dries out. It's a perfect breeding ground. The orange or rust-colored stains you might notice, especially along the waterline, those are mineral deposits. If you have hard water, and most of us do to some degree, calcium and iron build up over time and leave those stubborn rings. And if you see anything that looks black or dark green, especially in the corners or underneath the rim of the tank walls, that could very well be mold. Now, I don't want to scare you. This is incredibly common. Almost every toilet tank in America has some combination of these things going on. The problem is that all of this grime doesn't just sit there looking ugly. It actually gets into your flush valve, your flapper, and your fill valve. It can cause your flapper to seal poorly, which means your toilet runs constantly. It can clog the small jets under the rim of your bowl, which weakens your flush. And it slowly degrades rubber components, meaning you'll be replacing parts a lot sooner than you should. So cleaning your tank isn't just about hygiene. It's about keeping your toilet working the way it's supposed to and saving yourself money on parts and water bills. All right, let's get to work. The first thing you want to do is shut off the water supply to your toilet. Look down at the base of your toilet on the left side. You'll see a small valve coming out of the wall with a supply line running up to the bottom of the tank. That's your shutoff valve. Turn it clockwise until it stops. If you have an older gate valve style, it might take several full turns. If it's a newer quarter-turn ball valve, just rotate the handle 90 degrees so it's perpendicular to the pipe. Once the water is off, go ahead and flush the toilet. Hold the handle down for a few extra seconds to let as much water drain out as possible. You won't get all of it, and that's perfectly fine. There will be about an inch or so of water sitting in the bottom. I usually grab a large sponge and an old bucket, and I just soak up that remaining water and wring it out into the bucket. A turkey baster works great too if you want to get into the tight spots around the base of the flush valve. The goal here is to get the tank as empty as you can so you can actually see and reach everything inside. One tip: if you have any trouble kneeling down next to the toilet, Grab a small stool or put a folded towel under your knees. This job takes a little time and you want to be comfortable. All right. With the tank drained, let's take a good look at what we're dealing with. Now take the tank lid off carefully. These lids are heavy porcelain, and if you drop one, it'll crack your lid, your tank, or your floor. Set it flat on a towel on the floor where you won't trip over it. Now look inside the tank. You're going to see several components in there. The tall piece on the left side is your fill valve. That's what refills the tank after you flush. The round rubber piece at the bottom center is your flapper. That lifts up when you push the handle and lets water rush into the bowl. And the large tube in the center is your overflow tube and flush valve assembly. Take a mental note of the overall condition. Are the walls slimy? Is there discoloration? How do the rubber parts look? Are they stiff, warped, or coated in grime? If your flapper feels hard or doesn't flex easily when you touch it, that's a sign it needs replacing soon. But for now, let's focus on the cleaning. Look at the waterline area especially. That's where you'll see the heaviest mineral ring. Check the bottom of the tank too. Sediment settles down there over time, and it can interfere with your flapper seal. Everything you're seeing is stuff we're about to get rid of. So don't worry. Just knowing what's in there helps you understand why this matters. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. Now, for the actual cleaning. Here's what you'll need. A pair of rubber gloves, because nobody wants to stick their bare hands in there. A scrub brush with a long handle, or even an old toothbrush for tight spots. Plain white distilled vinegar. Baking soda. A spray bottle, and some clean rags or paper towels. Do not use bleach inside your tank. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but bleach degrades rubber parts fast. Your flapper, the seals on your fill valve, all of that rubber will break down much quicker if you're using bleach or those drop-in bleach tablets. White vinegar is your best friend here. Start by filling your spray bottle with undiluted white vinegar and spray down all the interior walls of the tank generously. Let that sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. The vinegar is going to start breaking down the mineral deposits and killing the bacteria and mold on contact. While you're waiting, sprinkle about half a cup of baking soda onto the bottom of the tank and along the lower walls where the worst buildup usually is. After the vinegar has had time to work, grab your scrub brush and start scrubbing the walls from top to bottom. Use firm pressure, but you don't have to go crazy. The vinegar does most of the heavy lifting. Work your way around the fill valve and the overflow tube. Get behind them if you can. An old toothbrush is perfect for getting around the base of the fill valve where grime likes to hide. For the bottom of the tank, scrub in small circles, and you'll see all that sediment start to come loose. It's honestly pretty satisfying once you see how much is coming off. Now, if you've got stubborn mineral deposits, the kind that don't come off with just vinegar and scrubbing, you need to step it up a notch. Here's what works. For heavy calcium or lime buildup, pour about 3 cups of white vinegar into the empty tank and let it sit for a full hour. If you can leave it for 2 or even 3 hours, even better. The longer the vinegar sits on those deposits, the more it dissolves them. For really tough rust stains, especially that orange ring at the waterline, I recommend a product called Barkeeper's Friend. It comes in a powder. Make a paste with a little water, apply it with a rag or your brush directly on the stain, and let it sit for 5 minutes before scrubbing. It works remarkably well on rust and mineral stains without damaging porcelain. For black mold, the vinegar treatment usually handles it. But if it's persistent, you can use a mixture of 1 part hydrogen peroxide to 2 parts water in your spray bottle. Spray it on, let it sit for 30 minutes, then scrub. Hydrogen peroxide kills mold effectively, and it won't damage your rubber components the way bleach will. Now, while you're in there dealing with stubborn buildup, pay attention to the condition of your flapper and fill valve. If the flapper has visible mineral crust on the sealing edge, gently wipe it clean with a vinegar-soaked rag. That seal is what keeps water from constantly running into your bowl, so you want it smooth and clean. If the flapper is so far gone that it's warped or crumbling, plan on replacing it. They cost about $4 to $6 at any hardware store and take about 2 minutes to swap out. Once you've finished scrubbing everything and you're happy with how it looks, it's time to put everything back together. Turn your shutoff valve back on by rotating it counterclockwise. You'll hear water start flowing into the tank through the fill valve. Let the tank fill up completely. This usually takes about 60 to 90 seconds, depending on your water pressure. As it fills, watch the water level. It should stop about 1 inch below the top of the overflow tube. If it goes higher than that or doesn't stop, you may need to adjust your fill valve. But for most people, it'll be right where it should be. Once the tank is full, go ahead and flush. Watch the flush cycle all the way through. The tank should drain quickly, the flapper should drop back down and seal, and the tank should refill smoothly. Flush it 2 or 3 times to rinse out any remaining vinegar or loosened sediment. The water in the bowl should run clean after a couple of flushes. Now take a minute to make sure everything is working the way it should. After the tank refills, wait about 5 minutes and then check for any sounds. If you hear a faint hissing or the sound of running water, your flapper might not be sealing properly. One quick test is to put a few drops of food coloring into the tank water. Wait about 15 minutes without flushing. Then check the bowl. If you see colored water in the bowl, your flapper is leaking and needs to be replaced. Also, check around the base of the shutoff valve and the supply line connection. Sometimes when you turn a valve that hasn't been touched in years, it can develop a small drip. If you see any moisture, try gently snugging the packing nut on the valve about 1/8 of a turn with a wrench. That usually takes care of it. Let's talk about some common problems you might run into during this process and how to handle them. First, your shutoff valve won't turn. This is really common with older gate valves that haven't been touched in years. Don't force it. Apply a little penetrating oil around the valve stem, wait 15 minutes, and try again with gentle pressure. If it still won't budge, you can shut off the water at your home's main shutoff instead. Second, your tank has a strong odor even after cleaning. This usually means bacteria has gotten into areas you couldn't reach with a brush, like inside the overflow tube or fill valve body. Run a full cup of vinegar down the overflow tube and let it sit for an hour before flushing. That should take care of it. Third, your toilet keeps running after you reassemble everything. 9 times out of 10, this is a flapper issue. Either the flapper isn't seated properly on the flush valve, or it's old and needs replacing. Make sure the flapper chain has about ½ an inch of slack. Too much slack and it gets caught under the flapper. Too little and it holds the flapper open slightly. Fourth, you notice cracks inside the tank. If you see any hairline cracks in the porcelain, especially ones that are wet or weeping, stop right there. A cracked tank can fail suddenly and dump several gallons of water on your bathroom floor. That's a situation where you want to replace the tank or the entire toilet. Fifth, the waterline stains come right back within a week or two. That tells you that you have significant hard water. The cleaning worked, but you need an ongoing maintenance plan, which brings me to that bonus tip I promised. Here's something I do on every toilet in my own house, and it works beautifully. Once a month, pour 1 cup of plain white vinegar into your toilet tank. That's it. Just pour it in, let it sit overnight, and flush in the morning. The vinegar prevents mineral buildup from gaining a foothold, keeps bacteria at bay, and helps your rubber components last longer. If you want to go one step further, you can keep a small container of vinegar under your bathroom sink with a measuring cup right next to it. Make it part of your routine, maybe the first of every month. It takes about 10 seconds, and it means you'll never have to do a deep scrub like this again. Over the course of a year, this simple habit will save you from replacing flappers, fill valves, and flush valve seals prematurely. Those parts add up. A single flapper might only cost $5, but a fill valve is $12 to $15. And if hard water ruins your flush valve seat, you're looking at a much bigger repair. 1 cup of vinegar a month is the cheapest plumbing insurance you'll ever find. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.